Oh, lordy, lordy, lord. What are we doing here, guys? What are we doing here? Inter 2, Bologna 2. What a wasted opportunity. What a waste. Let's just say that. Just what a waste this whole game was. 1 point in the end for Inter. And Bologna, I think we can crown them now. We can anoint them officially a bogey team for Inter because, as Matthias pointed out, this has been happening for a few years now. As I talked about in the preview, our recent record against them isn't particularly good. And once again, they have come up to the Meazza Stadium and put a stick in Inter's wheels and ruined our plans. Oh, we have Inter. I mean, credit to Bologna, but also Inter today, guys. Oh my goodness. Sloppy, poor passing out from the back. Obviously, we'll get into individuals like Asllani, Zielinski, Dimarco, who, have some blood on their hands defensively. But everything, we can say everything about this game, but it all comes down to this, guys. At the end, Thuram does everything here in his power, with his power, to get this ball to a fresh substitute, Mehdi Taremi, and he barely connects with this ball. It looks like here there's no way that he can miss the ball. He just about connects and it goes wide. Somehow he puts it. If he puts it wide, it's going back towards Tehran, but actually it's going towards us, towards like the camera. That is the game there. That is the biggest waste. Mehdi Taremi. I know a lot of you guys. I know Mattia. A lot of you guys have had him on fraud watch, but this guy, this is what he was brought in to do. He's supposed to be the third striker. In the past, we've had the likes of Alexis Sanchez there coming in to do the job. This is what he's supposed to do. He's supposed to be better than Arnautovic and Correa. We know Arnautovic and Correa are not to the level of this Inter team, but right now, outside of that good Supercoppa performance against Milan, Mehdi Taremi is not proving that he's good enough for Inter. This is blood on Mehdi Taremi's hands. Again, as always, I'm not going to blame things on the individuals, but, when you're talking about 90th minute, big, or massive opportunity, point blank range, in front of goal, what else can I do, guys? This is not singling him out, but today, of course, we'll talk about all the goals that we conceded and the general sloppy play. But as I said, at 2-2, the game is right here, this image. That is 3-2 right there. We talk about this in a different way. My intro is different. My vibe is different. My energy is different. Your comments are different. And that is because Mehdi Taremi did an absolute madness here somehow to miss. This is, Lakaka at his worst. This is, I can't even think, like, who's Felipe Caicedo? I mean, that guy didn't even hardly played for Inter. Like, this is just disgraceful. This is just disgraceful. And the game could have been the 3 points here, right here for Inter. Oh, my goodness. Again, this has been a bad start to 2025, right, guys? Almost every stream I'm starting with you guys like, oh, I don't want to be here, guys. I don't want to be here. Oh, even the Venezia post-match wasn't, it was good, but it wasn't like, amazing. We are so boring in losing position. Yeah, even in the second half when, Inzaghi brought on the substitutes, you expect some, we're not getting that impact. For example, Frattesi coming on last season, he used to cause that chaos and give us that impact. Nothing came from him. Obviously, Carlos Augusto completely effed up one of his touches. That was awful. Obviously, we've got into Taremi as well. Buchanan, this is what he's supposed to be. I know it's harsh with him. He only gets 10, 15 minutes here and there. But this is what all he can do to kind of, impress Inzaghi, impress us. And he can't even take... How old is Lorenzo De Silvestri? He had an opportunity to take on 36-year-old Lorenzo De Silvestri, 1v1 on the wing. And he just stumbled, fell over, and that was it. That was gone. So that was nothing from him. So zero impact from the substitutes. And of course, the impact, we already talked about the impact from Taremi. Bologna played like they were Monza, so much time wasting. Yeah, the ref really was bad. I mean, at the end, what the hell was that? The foul on Frattesi. Like, how was that a foul by Frattesi? He bumped into the guy, Ferguson, and then Ferguson literally pulled him down to the ground with him, and somehow it was fouled by Frattesi. Really, really poor refereeing in that sense. And yeah, in general, it was, lots of little fouls that didn't get called on Lautaro. A lot of, one time he got stamped on from behind Lautaro, and it wasn't even called a foul. The guy literally stamped on his heel. And yeah, we can also criticize Inzaghi for the usual, striker for striker, wing back for wing back, centre back for centre back, never really changing anything around, no formation changes, nothing, just 3-5-2 up until we die, up until my, my retirement, up until my grandkids come out. 3-5-2, whatever you want. And that is what you're going to get. That's what we're going to eat. That's the meal that we're going to eat for the rest of our lives. Of course, we'll talk about Asllani as well. Don't worry, we've got the clip loaded for our Albanian boy. Why all our new players not shooting? Yeah, just it's all around, Lucas, man. All around, like the shooting today. How much XG did we create? Even outside of the Taremi opportunity, 1.69. Nothing too crazy, but we probably could have had some more shots for sure. Only 12 shots. Bologna actually had more shots than us. Only 2 big chances according to FotMob. We get to the edge of the Bologna box and yeah, we just want to do fake shots. We're going to do back heels. It's really, really frustrating. Really, really frustrating. Porter robbed us. I mean, if it was a free transfer and he still feel robbed. So, there he is. Mattia has also anointed Mehdi Taremi. He's not on fraud watch anymore. He's a certified fraud. I'm still not ready to call him a certified fraud, but after this, it's hard to go against Mattia really, because again, outside of Supercoppa and outside the penalty that he was gifted by Lautaro, he's scored 0 open play goals for Inter. So I really cannot blame Mattia. I won't be able to be on for too long, guys. Apologies again, as usual. If I can't get to your comments, I will prioritize the channel members, but I do see you all in the chat, so thank you very much. And yeah, forgot to completely say, leave a thumbs up at least for the channel, for the Young Sharma channel, and subscribe if you're new. We are always here to react to positively, negatively, even draws as Inter fans these days. That's how much our levels have raised now. When we go for Scudetti, a draw against Bologna feels like the end of the world. And I'm trying to be here pretty much regardless of the result. I hope this was Frattesi's last game and Asllani's last season. I don't know about Frattesi, definitely not his last game, and Taremi, but today we can also, not anoint, we can put the final nail. Oh, I'm breaking my desk now. We can put the final nail in the Asllani coffin. We can close that coffin. Christian Asllani, I think today, what's the date? 15th of January 2025. I think today we have officially seen the match that ended Christian Asllani's career at Inter. It's going to be very hard for him to recover from this. I think this is it. This is when I heard the Meazza crowd, like we've talked about in the past, with Correa, with other flops, once the Meazza crowd gets on your back, Arnautovic, once the Meazza crowd starts to get on your back, that Inter shirt, this shirt starts to weigh even more. It's already a very heavy shirt to wear. And Asllani today, it looked like that shirt weighed a ton. Like, it looked like he was carrying Arnautovic and Lautaro on his back today, the way that he was moving, the way that he was, every time he touched the ball, he looked so nervous. He looked like a little kid out there. Every duel that he went in, I think he pretty much lost it. It was really bad to watch. And we basically played around Asllani the most of the game. We pretty much played, like, all the players kept passing it around Asllani. As a CDM, as the regista, he's supposed to be the one getting the most touches, but it was basically like he was moving around and the ball was moving around him. They were all making sure that we go around Asllani. He was just an extra body in the field in the build-up, and if your teammates can't trust you, the coach won't be able to trust you. The fans definitely can't trust him. That's 3 out of 3. There's not much I guess you can say management, the board of directors, I guess, is the 4th. But after watching that performance, I really struggle to see how even, the board and the directors can have some trust in Asllani. Yeah, there has to be a decision made, I think, in January, if it's possible, whether you loan this guy out or sell this guy. He's just not ready mentally, physically for Inter right now. I know, Hamdan, but this is, but that's the thing. Let's also not forget, Hamdan, he has been eased in as well. He was out for a good few months with a big injury, a leg break, a tibia break. So it's not like he should have been getting a lot more minutes, maybe a few more minutes. But this is what an impact substitute has to do. I know it's a difficult job, but if you want to, this is how people grab opportunities. You when they say luck, you just what opportunity meets chance, but you have to grab that opportunity with both hands whenever you get it. I know it's difficult for TJ, but 1v1 against, as I said, Lorenzo De Silvestri, that's embarrassing that he can't even do that. Thank you, Mattia, for always reminding the people and supporting in here. Thuram, Bastoni, Barella carrying this team 100%, Gabri. Like Thuram today, again, maybe should do better in front of goal. Maybe he could be a bit more contributing in goals, but he was doing everything today, Thuram. Every time, winning all his duels and battles and trying to create everything out of nothing. There's certainly so much he can do. Bastoni as well at the back. Really unlucky on the deflection on the goal, the second goal, and then Barella was just superb today in all phases, defending, attacking, breaking up play, building up play. Like everyone else wasn't quite there. Dumfries as well in the first half was fantastic, and then he just kind of disappeared in the second half. But yeah, those 3 definitely were the standout players. Definitely the standout players. And yeah, maybe Inzaghi just needs to find a different solution now. We know that he does not want to step away from the 3-5-2. He thinks of Asllani only as the CDM of the 3-5-2, but in some games, if we don't have the regista that we want, again, Zielinski, whenever Zielinski had to do some defending today, embarrassing as well. We'll get to Zielinski as well. He was up and down. It wasn't a bad game from Zielinski, but very inconsistent game. He was embarrassing, but maybe he just can't play a 3-5-2. You just have to move away from the CDM, maybe play 3-4-2-1. Just change it, something that doesn't require, they have to play a double pivot maybe, where it doesn't require the CDM, and then, maybe Barella and Zielinski can play like that. Barella, Mkhitaryan when he's back as a midfield pivot too. Because I don't trust Zielinski or Asllani to play there against this team, and that's what the question was today. In the preview, Asllani can do the job against the likes of Venezia, lower table team, but this is a top 8 team, Bologna, top 10 team minimum. Can he do it? Today he just crumbled. He crumbled under the pressure. The answer was a resounding no from Asllani. It's written in the start. This is now season from the beginning. I don't want to hear again that we have that our subs are mediocre at best. Yeah, but this is the level of, again, you gotta also look. I don't want to start, defending the team already. I want to save that for the second half. But who are we competing against again, guys? When it comes to the substitutes, Juventus yesterday. Do you know who did they play up front? They played Weston McKennie up front. You're talking about lack of backups. Their Dusan Vlahovic backup, because Milik is injured, yesterday was Weston McKennie. And then actually for most of the game, it was more like it was a really coup minus for them playing up front, which is supposed to be their big 60 million center midfielder. You know, that's the kind of level in Serie A that we're competing against. In Napoli, if Lukaku gets injured, they have, Giovanni Simeone, who has always been a best, a mid-table level striker. We're not talking about world beaters that we're competing against. A Mehdi Taremi, in theory, should be good enough to compete. Arnautovic was the guy leading the line for Bologna just a couple of seasons ago, just like Santiago Castro. He should be, in theory, good enough, but when you put this shirt on, it drains all your talent and all your ability out of you. Send you some pics from that second goal through Discord. Yeah, we'll get into the screenshots as well, Eduardo. Appreciate that. Taremi's missed from many low gags versus Sassuolo, but not that horrendous. I think this is worse. At least Gagliardini gets it on target. But yeah, I mean, maybe this one is a bit harder because it comes, hard from the side, and Gagliardini's was, just bouncing right in front of him, so it's different. But Jesus Christ. Eduardo says almost a carbon copy of Inzaghi's first season. I mean, points-wise, we're right there, guys. Remember, we talked about it in the last stream when I showed the head-to-head or like comparison. We are bang on the performance of Inzaghi's first season. Actually, now, because of this draw, we're minus 2 points on that season. That's up to date, right? Have we played 11 games now? Right? Sorry, 19? Yeah, 19. So that is up to date from Soccer Stats. So actually now we're even behind the Inzaghi first season now. So now we're minus 2 points on the Inzaghi's first season, and now we're minus 4 on last season. Not looking good at the moment. Not looking good. At the same time, not all is lost. Not all is lost, because we are still only 3 points away from Napoli in terms of our catch-up game. So we have Empoli next, which, of course, it's you don't want to say it right now, but it should be in theory 3 points, right? So let's say that is, we get the 3 points there at home against Empoli. We are on the same points as Napoli, so it's definitely not the result that we wanted and needed today, but it means that at least we're not, losing ground on Napoli at the moment. And then, of course, we have the catch-up game against Fiorentina coming up. But it's not a good January at the moment. Really, really not good January. Yeah, but then they're just not going to do it. I know right now, guys, we're all angry with Taremi. We're all angry with like how useless Arnautovic and Correa are. But they are not going to throw Taremi under the bus in January and like try to get another striker. It is what it is. We're going to work with what we have. Nothing is going to happen in January, especially for strikers. I know today we are just absolutely reeling from this, and I can't get over this. And I want to kick out Taremi from the club just for this, but we know the type of manager Inzaghi is. He's not going to throw anyone under the bus. I'll tell you this now, guys. I wouldn't be surprised. Again, we say this is the nail in the coffin of Asllani's, career at Inter. But Inter versus Empoli next up. Hakan is still out. And it's at home, right? The next one. Yeah, Inter Empoli at home. I think he's going to start Asllani again. And I think, whatever happens, Taremi's going to play again. So, we know what the type of coach Inzaghi is. He's not going to throw anyone under the bus as much as we want to. And today we feel very reactionary and want to swear at these players, and they deserve it today. They deserve the abuse today for sure. But our coach, love him or hate him, that is our coach. Thank you, Gabri, for the donation. Really, really appreciate you, bro. Let's sign Castro in the summer. Seb, Esposito is better than playing in the... But again, Gabri, Seb Esposito is playing better than Taremi now because he's at Empoli. Seb Esposito, just like people are saying, how can, Buchanan do something in 10 minutes? That's what Seb Esposito is going to get. He's going to be told, where 2-2 against Bologna, you now have to go on and make the difference. That shirt on Seb Esposito as an inter-youth player, as a Primavera product, is going to weigh on him even 3-4 times more. How many years have we been watching into how many players crumble under this pressure? Of course, the younger players maybe deserve more of a chance than some of these older players, and especially if you're into youth product, maybe you do deserve more leeway in certain ways. Castro is different. Yeah, Castro, he looks, today he scored, but it was kind of like a lucky deflected kind of goal. Fighter, reminds us of that young Lautaro. They call him Torito. They call him, the new Lautaro. You can see why. Similar kind of build to young Lautaro, not the current Lautaro, of course. Warrior, definitely, yeah, someone to keep an eye out for that Inter are in for. But some wholesale changes, yeah, we do need them in the summer for sure. This summer we decided to do nothing because we sold no one and not many players left, so there wasn't much room to play around. Arnautovic, Correa's contracts are expiring, both heavy wages, both there's going to be room to play with for sure. Inter's board, Marotta, Ausilio and co have no excuses this summer. Frattesi has quit on us, let's be real. 2 minutes, 4 touches. But Bowie Marley, bro, again, this has always been Frattesi. This is because now we're saying this because, he didn't do nothing, but that was Frattesi last year as well. I can go back to any Frattesi substitute appearance. He always comes on, poor passing percentage, few touches, but last season he had his Roman ass was getting the luck. He was getting all the luck with all the little rebounds and getting, there right. And of course, he had a bit more hunger for sure last year. But I saw him today. He was trying. He tried, and he definitely, that foul shouldn't have been called on him. I think that would have been a massive chance opportunity, whatever was happening with Frattesi there. So many players not performing, confidence issues. Yeah, 100%, 100%. Last year we were getting a reaction from, as we were talking, from these bench boys. So it's also on, and Inzaghi this season, he's not been able to get out the best of a lot of these rotational players. In the Champions League, he has. We have to admit that. In the Champions League, we have been getting the results. But again, the performances haven't been particularly great in the Champions League. The performances really were under par, but we don't talk about it because we are in that top 8 where we want to be. It definitely hasn't been as good of a season up until now as we expected and as it was last year for sure. Zielu has to take this role for CDM now. No, I just don't, man. It was so bad. Some of the defending today from Zielinski as well. Really, really bad. Really, really bad. Asllani really looked scared and anxious. The more the game went through, the more his face reflected his fear. Yeah, it was really, really bad. Really, really bad today. Really, really bad. Otlo in the house says ugly draw, so some of the best and worst. Yeah, there was some one thing we have to say is there was some really, really nice plays today. Really, really nice plays at some points from Inter, some Inzaghi ball, bits of Inzaghi ball, at his best. Some of the football that we played, some of the passages of play we had were really, really nice. But then, as Otlo says, there was some moments of really slack defending, switching off, going to sleep. And again, the main issue we've had this season is the lack of control. We were 2-1 up, and you just don't feel like this Inter team have control of the game. It always seems like we struggle to maintain that control. There's always a chance for the other team to get back in it. There's always, something happens. It's really, really poor. Really, really poor this season. Sorry, Stanislav, it's the first name that came to mind. But okay, give me other teams. Who's Napoli? As I said, who's Napoli? That's the team we're competing with, right? Who's Napoli's backup? The one team I'll give you is Atalanta. They've invested because of Scamacca's injury. They got Retegui. But up front, they have a lot of nice rotation. But then at the back, Atalanta, as soon as someone gets injured, they've got the Rune has to go back into centre back like he did against us. A wing back. What's their depth? Is Edison gets injured for Atalanta? Who's their backup? This is who we're competing against. Let's not look at Juve because we're not competing with Juve, but let's look at Napoli. If Lobotka goes out, they got Billy Gilmore coming in. If McTominay goes out, who's coming in for them? We're not talking about these kind of super teams that we're competing against. Well, okay, now I've jinxed us, of course, because I predicted a 2-1. It was a 2-1 victory I predicted. Unfortunately, it wasn't to be. Usually the 2-1 is the one that you guys like me predicting because it's the one that... Oh, no, it's the 1-1, isn't it? It's with my 1-1 that you guys like me predicting because usually we end up winning on that one. The backup goalkeeper, that one is, we've talked about it since the summer. I disagreed with the purchase of Martinez, Pepe Martinez. But again, it's something, Adam, that wasn't for this season. It's something that we'll have to evaluate next season, maybe even in 2 years. But I would have not made that investment. Language Tours can take his victory lap today. The number one Asllani hater in the world. But again, not Zielinski. My goodness. You cannot, if you watch the game today, you cannot say he played Zielinski there instead. My goodness. That guy was absolutely atrocious in his defending today. I'm going to get through the screenshots as well in a minute. The team is starting to freak out under the pressure, which is crazy, Alex, isn't it? I mean, this is a team of the current Scudetto holders, the champions. Most of these guys have won. They were also there with the Conte Scudetto, so multiple Scudetto winners, multiple trophy winners. Some of these guys have won with their countries, World Cup winners, some of these guys. And it's crazy, that they freak out under pressure and they're just not able to, at the moment, pull together as a team, stay concentrated, stay alive for the full 90 minutes. It looks like, and we are, average age of this team is, 28, 29, 30 sometimes, some of the average age, lineups that we put out. So very experienced team. Today's average age was 29.3. Definitely one of the oldest squads and starting lineups in Serie A. But it shouldn't be. It doesn't reflect, the experience and the know-how of these players into some of these performances. Is really, really shocking. The Rai, of course, has been, he's never played this much football before at Inter probably, and he's getting, drained. He's definitely looking a little bit tired. But I really can't blame him. Some of these injuries have come at the wrong time. But the Meazza crowd, for sure. The Meazza crowd is the difficult place, San Siro, to play. It's a difficult place. He's just not it, guys. I cannot understand if you want Zielinski at CDM. Please watch Zielinski when he's off the ball. Just watch him. Focus. I know a lot of Interisti focus on Asllani when he's off the ball because that is the hot topic, but please watch Zielinski when he has to follow a guy's run behind or make a tackle or make a block. Please just watch the way that he tries to block balls. It's like schoolboy. Now, guys, I'm going to ignore some of your comments. Apologies. And go through some of the screenshots because it was, as we said, an up and down game. We saw some good things. I wanted to give a shout out to Denzel Dumfries. He, as I said, first half, he was fantastic. Let me see what his kind of stats are looking like. He was dominating and Tottenham were giving the man of the match, but he completely disappeared in the second half. He was a monster in the first half. 3 chances created, scored the goal, 2 shots on target, 2 dribbles, 2 long balls. He was balling today. Look at that, winning pretty much all his duels, all his aerial duels. And this season, he's added these early crosses, which he didn't have in his Arsenal before, and really enjoying them because it gives us nice, different edge because before it was like, unless he is in, near the box and he can just whip the ball in first time, he doesn't cross. But now he's able to do these early crosses, and Thuram had this kind of early half chance. But then the negative bits started already early. We're missing Hakan and Mkhitaryan's safety. Like, a lot of people sometimes question why Inzaghi is obsessed with Mkhitaryan. Zielinski, but before this, there was a moment Asllani lost the ball before, but then Lautaro saved his ass, because Asllani gave the ball away, but then Lautaro worked hard and won it back. Then a few minutes later, Zielinski loses a really bad ball, in the middle of the pitch. Then Moro shoots from distance, got a slight deflection. Zoma deflects it onto the post. And then a few minutes later, the goal comes in. And look who is there. Piotr Zielinski. This is a ball that was in the air, floating around. He needs to be sprinting to the guy to block the shot. And please, guys, I beg you to go watch Piotr Zielinski on the way to try, or if you can try to block Moro's shot. Absolutely schoolboy type of effort there. Well, actually, schoolboys probably put more effort into blocking that shot. Really, really poor. And then Castro has the striker instinct to kind of just nick in front of De Vrij there to deflect it in. But really, really poor start. Both Zielinski and Asllani causing two issues there, back to back. There's anything that show me hope this Napoli's this there is, or are you saying there isn't, or there is, Radel? With the same three against Empoli, then Zielinski plays CD Young and Sparta Prague. Yeah, we know the Champions League rotations will come in. Stanislav is back. I agree that we're not competing with super team. I know that we're a classy team with longer bench. Our reserves only hard to get minutes in Atalanta and Napoli. Yeah, maybe you're right there. But again, Stanislav, they're getting the results in the Champions League as well. At the moment, this team is also a little bit tired as well, the starters. Like today, the second goal, Stanislav is our star left wing back who completely, embarrassingly switches off. Like, what the hell kind of defending is this? This is not the backup. This is the starter left wing back who completely switches off. Tries to, I don't know what he tries to do, head it out for a corner or try to head it away. Really, really awful. And then Orsolini passes it back onto the edge. You can see top left corner where I've put the screenshot. Again, do you know who that should have been there? Because Asllani was the one pressing, as Eduardo says. Asllani was on the far side. He should have been pressing harder for the cross, for the original cross that came in. So he should have been pressing harder for the cross that came in. The cross came in, but then this should be like, a corner. Dimarco put it out for a corner. Very easy, but no. Doesn't put it out for a corner. And then Zielinski, because Barella follows Odegaard. Odegaard was making the run through the middle, so Barella tries to follow him. Look where Zielinski is, top left-hand side of your screen, guys. Nowhere near home. Awful. All round. Obviously, biggest culprit there is Dimarco, but Zielinski almost as bad. And Asllani deserves a little slap on the wrist as well for a poor pressing. But, crosses do come in from that. It was an early cross. And there was a floater. Like, that has to be cleared out. 100%. Let me get back to the screenshots. And then, I did like the reaction. I did like the reaction from the team. The way the team reacted just a few minutes after reconceding, we step on the pedal. We know that we can crush any team in this league when we step on the pedal, regardless of our starting 11. We step on the pedal, we score. Bastoni wins the ball back in the middle of the pitch. Thuram carries the ball for 40, 50 meters. Back heels to Dimarco, who shoots. Denzel is there for the rebound. And before if you see any Milan or Juventini fans crying, it was not a foul by Bastoni in the middle of the pitch when he won the ball back. It was a very good and clean tackle. Fantastic way to kickstart the counter-attack. And then, we continued. And then after we equalized, we should have equalized already in the first. We should have took the lead already. A few minutes later, Denzel maybe could have passed it back here to Asllani. Could have had a 1-2 with Asllani here. Because Lautaro was on the floor, but Asllani was asking for it. But Denzel was feeling himself. Fair enough. Not going to, moan too much about that. Lautaro maybe could have he had more than one goal today. He had a few chances, so this was one of them. Dumfries with a beautiful switch of play to Thuram. Thuram crosses it into Lautaro, who goes first time with his left foot. It doesn't quite connect the way that he wants. And then Asllani crosses it into Lautaro, diving header. Similar position to how Retegui scored yesterday against Juventus. Was it yesterday or the other day? Whenever it was. Again, doesn't score from this. Maybe could have done better. And then, again, showing more lackadaisical. Why is Nicolo Barella, was he 5'8", 5'7", Barre? Why is he marking 6'2" Jens Odgaard, who gets an almost free header here onto target? Easy save for Sommer, but again, showing little, lapses of concentration, falling asleep, just little things like that. The right, but I think in general he was good today. The right, I think now, I think Castro only won like I don't know how he's got such a high rating here. I don't think he won like too many. Actually, it says here. Oh wait, let me share the screen with you guys. I thought he was pretty decent. The right, obviously, the goal, the Castro snuck in front of him, but he did. It looks like he did win most of his duels with Stefan. But I don't think he was particularly that impressive today, Santiago Castro. I know he's got a high rating here, but somehow Asllani has the same rating as Barella, but we all know that is not true. Somehow Asllani has got a higher rating than Bastoni, then he's got the same rating as Thuram. Like, this is why you can't trust, we use this. I use these apps, this FOTMob especially visually to, have something nice to show you on screen and, gives us discussion points and go through the stats. But Asllani today, that was a 4 out of 10 performance. That was definitely very, very poor performance today. And then, again, we finished the half strong. We go into the second half ahead, like we did against Milan, but somehow we can't manage this with lead. This is a beautiful goal. Even before this snippet here, the build-up from the back from Sommer to Ram's hold-up. Then he passes it to Zielinski, and then here Zielinski showing his quality. Beautiful ball into space to Dimarco. Dimarco actually had a great game as well. I wanted to talk about Dimarco as potentially one of the man of the match. But even FOTMob has given him made errors. You see here, even the stat rating app has made an error that led to a goal for Bologna. Because otherwise, I think he would have been in the 7 rating here. Because I think he had a really solid game, but that one big mistake cost us. But here, it was a beautiful run and pass into Lautaro, and I was happy to see Lautaro score. I thought Lautaro, what did you guys make of Lautaro today? I thought he was pretty good today. Started off a bit shaky, but I think he grew into the game. And there was one moment where he ran with the ball 30, 40 meters. I know it's like Casale against Casale, the Bologna centre-back, who was not a very good player, but that's the Lautaro that we want to see. So, Retegui is the only. I mean, the thing is, because they play 2 strikers who are not actually strikers. That's the thing. CDK and Lukman are play Atalanta system is so weird that they play like a 3-4-1-2 with Pasalic as an attacking mid, and then you have Lukman and CDK who both not really strikers. It's like a really weird system when they don't play Retegui. But if in terms of actual strikers, is Retegui and Scamacca. But Gasperini is a lot more fluid and a lot more flexible in his system, that he's turned. It's kind of playing both. He's playing basically two false nines as strikers. It's really flexible. That's the flexibility of Gasperini that allows him to have that. Milan have Morata, and then they have bloody Jamie Abraham, who can barely, we gifted him a goal in the Super Cup, but this guy can barely buy a goal in Serie A for the last few years at Roma and at Milan. Morata, we know, he's a bit like Taremi in terms of he does everything outside of scoring a lot of the times. He's hard worker, a great build-up, but that's the level of Serie A. Fratesi is better rating than all of them. Kirby says I may need to rescind. Yeah, bro, you need to rescind all your big predictions. To be honest, you've been, I've been getting too many DMs about your predictions, and yeah, you just need to tone them all down for this season. I miss those days when our last son was Rana waiting for a DD miracle. Yeah. Like back in those days, it used to be. It didn't really matter if you're a striker or not. Ranocchia, you go up. Danilo D'Ambrosio, chaos. Danilo D'Ambrosio, it was the Davide Fratesi in a way. Like, he was the chaos guy. You just last 5-10 minutes, send D'Ambrosio up. He's gonna cause something in the far post. That was his thing. I'm happy with Lautaro not scoring anymore, but us getting results. Yeah, can we find the right balance between Lautaro performance, goals, and into winning? Like, before, we were not getting the performances and the goals, but we were winning. Then we started getting the performances, not the goals, and we still kind of winning. Now we're getting the performances and the goals, but we're not winning. So maybe we need stinky Lautaro back. We need fat, stinky Lautaro back so we can start winning again. Because this 2025 Lautaro looks a lot better, but then we're not winning. Lauti was good. He's scared of losing his minutes Castro next season. Yeah, maybe. After scoring the goal, Lauti displays so much confidence. That's why I don't understand the substitution. But that's the thing. I think he always gasses himself out, Hamdan. He works so hard, Lautaro, with the chasing back. Like, that example I said at the beginning, from the first few minutes when Asllani lost that ball, he was at right wing back, winning the ball back. And then there was another point from Ndoye that he got a foul. He fouled him, but he works so hard. And we always know, even under Conte, Inzaghi, last season is the season where he wasn't getting substituted much. But in general, I always feel like he's got that, him, Dimarco, these shorter guys and these that kind of build, like the stockier short build, they kind of gas out quicker, these types of footballers. Yeah, exactly. I mean, again, this is all on paper, but it doesn't work out. We are supposed to have 5 strikers, guys, on paper. 5 guys, not the burger chain. We're supposed to have 5 guys, 5 strikers: Correa, Arnautovic, Taremi, Thuram, Lautaro. And at the moment, we have Thuram, who is obviously the standout one this season, and Lautaro's finally turning up. But then we have three at the moment that are not turning up. Well, Correa was at one point, and he's usually got injured, just unreliable. Ranocchia, the best striker of all time, goal to minute ratio striker better than R9. Yeah, the set pieces today as well, not as good. Yeah, outswinging. I think even outswinging, in swinging, the deliveries just weren't on point today. The short ones, the short corners, my goodness. If there was a petition to remove short corners from football, I would sign that petition straight away. There was one where Dimarco passed it short to Zielinski, and Zielinski's back, he tried to pass it back to him first time, and it was so bad, and it went out for a throw in. Jesus, it was so bad. And then finish up here. I don't know, there wasn't much made of this, guys, but here it was on the counter, fantastic by Barella. Passes it to Dimarco. Dimarco through ball to Thuram, and Thuram actually gets to the ball first before Skorupski here, the goalkeeper, but hits it with his heel by mistake. So he gets to the ball first, and Skorupski doesn't get any of the ball. And I was watching the Italian commentary, and the refereeing expert, he just shoved it off. He said nah, because this is not a penalty because Thuram, his touch went in the opposite direction, and Skorupski stopped himself. But I thought this looked like a penalty to me. I was pretty confused about this one. I don't know, maybe my understanding of the penalty situations is different. He did dive. No, like, Thuram did dive. Like, he literally even did dive. He actually got took out. He didn't even need to dive. He literally got took out there. So, yeah, Eduardo says that was a penalty. Yeah, of course, this is a big talking point in terms of Napoli. Regardless of whether we are better than them in quality-wise, they have one competition to focus on, a lot less games. Potentially, as Matthias says, we could have almost 30 games. And of course, they have a specialist in this competition, in this league, which is Antonio Conte. And that's one guy today that was really happy, really, really happy. Yeah, Marotta League. Yeah, but that doesn't really matter, Bobby Miley. They check every situation is checked by VAR. The rolling and diving, crying, that's that's affecting the ref, but the referee, the VAR is checking everything. So, and then actually there was this as well. I completely forgot about this. Thuram passes it into space to Taremi. Maybe it's like slightly in front of him, but again, Taremi's touch isn't quite there. Obviously, this is not as bad as this. I'm sorry to keep bringing this up, but again, here, his touches is one thing that has been on point since he's come to Inter Medi. His touch has been on point, but he could have done better there. But anyway, guys, I need to go. Please leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel once again. Not the result that we wanted. Man of the match for me is Barella. I want to give it to Barella. I really, really can't fault Barella for anything today. His overall play, defending, attacking was on point. Yeah. Shout out to Lautaro and Thuram, but yeah, with the amount of opportunities and chances that we create, we definitely should have had more than 2 goals today. I know the XG only says 1.69, but that has to be a lot more. That has to be. Oh wait, yeah. See, the Taremi one is because he didn't even touch it properly. There's not even given as a shot here. So that's actually, in reality, that probably is like a 0.8, 0.9 XG minimum. Because that's how bad Taremi's attempt was. They're not even actually counted it as a shot here. Let's have a look actually on the stat. Did they even count it as a shot? No, 0 shots. So, my goodness. I'm sorry, guys. I hope that was a good show. I know it's always hard, these ones. I apologize, guys, for not being able to take all the comments. I always try to do it. I know it's difficult. Try to put yourself in my shoes when there's so many comments, so much frustration. Thank you, Language Stores. Thank you, Valmo. Even a draw works on Saturday. We're greedy now. Thank you, Franz Victor, for becoming a member. I really, really do appreciate your support. And thank you to Eduardo for the donation, as always. I really appreciate you. Shout out to your wife as well, who said you should be donating more. Gabri, thank you very much, bro. Always DMing me his opinions. He's a big Frattesi fan, so don't give Frattesi slander when he's around. Yeah, but I think he did enough there, Bobby Marley. Like, yeah, he was taken out. Like, what more do you want? But yeah, whatever. Starting to pay this Napoli. Yeah, definitely. But they'll replace him. That's the thing. They'll replace him. Vara, he's left, but they'll replace him with someone. Will it be Frattesi? Who knows? But they will replace him. But who have Napoli got next? Now we have to do that thing where we have to check. Just as much as we check Inter fixtures, we have to check Napoli fixtures. Let's check before we go. Yes, yeah, like as people have been saying, Atalanta. Sorry, I forgot. You guys have been saying in the comments. It is Atalanta. Conte, don't get greedy. Atalanta, we need a... Actually, yeah, it's a nice little run of fixtures where if Napoli are going to drop this Scudetto race. It's here. This is the run where we need the help from our fellow teams. Atalanta, please do something for me. Juve, stupid Motta drawing. I mean, that's what Juve do, so surely they can get a draw to Juve. Roma have been better under Ranieri. Can they do something? Lazio have fallen off now, but hopefully they can do something. And then, of course, in March, hopefully by then, they've dropped enough points where that March, Napoli versus Inter, we can take the crucial points away against them like we did against Juve last year. So let's see how it goes, guys. Thank you for tuning in. I really, really appreciate you. 92 people. Make sure you leave a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Asllani, maybe it might be rest in peace to your career. Mehdi Taremi, we are very, very close to putting that nail in your coffin too. But Inter's title race is not over, guys. 2-2, but we move on to the next one. Empoli up next. I'll see you for the preview of that one. Regardless of the result, always, Porta Inter. See you in the next one, guys. Ciao.